Doing a sound check. Yep, that sounds good. Hey everyone, this is Philippa, and I haven't been on my channel in a minute because I've had a few things going on. So this stream kind of is going to answer the questions about where I've been, what I'm up to, and what is coming next on this channel. So I've been busy, lots of things going on, lots of things I've been figuring out as I go. I think when I started at the beginning of the year, I had every technical challenge that could happen, whether it was a technical camera issue or audio issue, as well as we were beginning our programming journey, as I was going through the Python tutorial, I couldn't figure out the right interpreter to use. And I looked at Jupyter Notebooks, I looked at PyCharm, I looked at Visual Studio Code, and recently was introduced to Colabs through Google, and I've decided that that seems to be the simplest, most straightforward one to use. So I'm actually super excited to get back to the original Python tutorial. I have this particular background because I've been working on Muse and Metrics, which is my podcast. I invite you to check that out. That's on 360 Radio for Women. If you're a woman or an ally, that's a great place to hear my weekly content. You can either enable the 360 Talk Radio for Women, or you can download the app. They have a new app. So if you've seen it before, you'll see that there's an upgraded interface. And I'm really wanting to move in the direction of talking more about tech. So I've been behind the scenes busily trying to figure out if I were to create micro brands, what those micro brands would look like. And so now that I'm much more settled in my academic career, I am officially in the master's program for human security and geospatial intelligence. And so we're looking at disasters, man-made disasters, climate impact, and all of those things. Getting an error message, so I'll find out what that's about. I just cleared it, so we'll see what that does. Anyways, I just wanted to kind of just check in, say hello, reaffirm my commitment to build this channel, add value. I'm also in a GIST certificate program, and so the GIST certificate program is going to be completed this summer. So that's Geographic Information Science and Technology. So officially kind of in the STEM stream. So wanting to be an advocate and ambassador for STEM, although I also have a deep background in the arts. So I want to be an advocate for all things creative as well. I think they're incredibly valuable for mental and social health. So I think kind of having that intersection of true arts and sciences, I think is valuable for the whole person, regardless of what the career interest may be. And in that process, I've been traveling a lot, getting ready for an upcoming testing cycle in martial arts, and I've been going through my pre-test, so that's me back to Colorado for that. My school's in California, and I've been going back and forth between California and Pennsylvania. So it's just kind of constant motion, and I will be traveling out of the country at the end of the month. So that's as I'm finishing up school final projects and getting into final exams. So it's going to be a busy couple weeks ahead. I finally got a stable studio environment where I got my green screen set up. I have spent so much time just trying to figure out learning the tech, learning editing, learning Premiere Pro, figuring out kind of where I want to go live versus where I want to pre-record and make videos. Going live is its own thing, and I appreciate it because sometimes I'm feeling so busy with school and deadlines and assignments and traveling and activities, but I just want to also be present here and check in and offer value. I see so many things that I want to share, so many deadlines, so many opportunities. And so that's a big part of why I want to be on YouTube, and also just keeping track for myself of all the cool things I see and find and want to go deeper and learn more about and participate in. So those are the things that I've been up to. Again, I've been continuing my weekly audio radio show. I have tried it as a video podcast, so that those episodes are on Muse and Metrics. I also became a Google Women Tech Makers Ambassador, so kind of a mentorship program with Google, which has been amazing. And I got to interview 8 of my fellow Google Women Tech Makers, and that has allowed me to just really further that conversation with women. So what Muse and Metrics has become is my kind of women brand. And again, the reason I'm using the background today is just to sort of invite you to check that out. That has been a bit of where my attention has been on the podcast and on content for the Muse and Metrics YouTube channel. So invite you to, again, check that out. That's, again, focused on women and tech and women in business is kind of the theme, and kind of women empowerment. I will come on my own channel, Philippa Burgess, with more of just my learning journey, what I'm learning. I just completed a certificate in Ukrainian from absolute beginner to confident speaker. And I felt like that's been a great way to show my solidarity, because I've realized that I became kind of a wimp about war. It was really challenging. I'm not in it. I obviously have so much compassion, and for those who are, this is part of their lives, and their lives are upended or ended by this. And so I have the privilege of that being an option, and it was an option that I leaned into quite a bit on my TikTok channel, where I was reporting on it almost daily. But I found that at the end of the year, I needed to kind of pull my energy back and reorient where I was putting my attention. And one, I wanted to bring it more over to YouTube. And two, I decided that part of my show of solidarity would be in other ways, in deeper research projects, and understanding more history. So I did a deep dive into Stalin and Stalinism and the formation of the Soviet Union sort of before the Bolshevik Revolution, through the Red Terror, through World War II, and a bit of the period after that. And so I read a number of books about that and kind of got my head around the history and just kind of understanding more context. So language learning and understanding history and just doing more that's in my work with data science, data, maps, programming has been part of just my way of showing solidarity, is as opposed to sort of following and tracking the news on a daily basis. And the other part I find about the reporting on the news daily was I don't really know what is propaganda, what's real, what's not real. And so it takes me just a bit longer to filter it, to make sure that if I'm sharing something, it's true to the best of my knowledge. And so that was another reason I kind of also wanted to pull back. But I'm figuring it all out. I realized that it's been about 9 months from when I started this channel with regular postings, and then it's been very stop and start. And I'm just trying to figure out, like, what am I doing with recording? What am I doing with editing? What am I doing with sort of visuals and B-roll? So I'm still kind of learning the production process, and I'm being much more gentle with myself that I'm still figuring it out. And I probably have a long way to go, but a little bit at a time. I mean, even my map making skills from when I started in September to where I am now are infinitely better. And that's to say I probably went from a 0 to a 7, and probably by this time next year I'll be at 100, and probably a year after that I'll be at 1,000 in terms of my ability to do cartographic work. And same thing with data visualization, programming, language skills, all these things that not only am I learning, but I invite you to come learn with me. I'm definitely seeing growth and progress, but I also know I have a long way on my journey. But, part of it is you just kind of keep going. It's not going to be a perfect straight line, but it's going to be something. So I just wanted to just show up today, just say hello, and revisit the channel and revisit my community, and sort of get back to creating more regular content on the Philippa Burgess channel, and also acknowledge I have now identified several micro brands that I want to start leaning into that kind of cover my interests. And this is going to be kind of my main channel, but I'm going to niche out some content specifically for You Belong in STEM and Maps Data Design, GeoInt AI, and The Sassy Lady, which is my love for apps and subscriptions and digital services and startups and technology, Musinmetrics, which is my radio show brand, and I've committed to sort of the women empowerment brand. And those are kind of the main ones. I also have the Entitled Developer, which embodies some of the information from my urban planning degree. And then Kung Fu Pippa is a bit more dedicated to my support for Ukraine. That's also my TikTok channel over there. And I've been hearing that they're going to do a dedicated stream for STEM. So I may get more involved in creating content for that as my time allows. I think that's a big part of this is trying to be very methodical in my approach to creating content, given the fact that I have limited time and a lot of school deadlines and then a lot of travel on top of that and just kind of managing life. So I'm basically going to do the best I can in the ways that I can, and then also have supplementary blog content. For example, this is Cybersecurity Week through the NSA, and they have a great checklist of things we can all do to help protect ourselves. So I have gone ahead and done a blog about that. So as I see things that are interesting, I will look to share them, and whether I do it through video or I do it through a blog, I think sometimes I'm not always in a fixed studio environment, so it's a little harder for me to set that up. But again, do the best I can with what I have, and just wanting to step out as a content creator and know that I will be improving exponentially as I figure out how to make it all better. So I thank you for your support, for continuing to come join me and sharing my journey as a graduate school student, getting basically my third major degree from USC, as well as now a couple of certificates that I've gotten along the way through the program. I'll be completing a teaching certificate in May, not just a certificate in August. And then outside of school, I just completed the first Ukrainian language learning certificate, and just have been leaning into language learning, and then through Google getting a lot of programming. I took a quick intro course in machine learning, and then they gave us that course to share with our own communities. So that's something else I'm going to be bringing to this channel is the machine learning. And that was the one that gave me the interpreter, because I got stuck not having an interpreter. So now that I have an interpreter, I am feeling completely ready to go. And I'm realizing that my shirt, I'm feeling completely ready to go in terms of moving forward with programming. And my classes this summer, one in databases, and then in the fall, another one in programming. So I'll also be getting a lot of Python programming within my academic setting as well. So excited to share all of that with you. Again, I invite you to come over to Musinmetrics if that's of interest to you, and check out some of my weekly podcasts, and also the audio summit that I did called Dare to Be in celebration of International Women's Day. That is a 5-hour summit, but if you look at the descriptions, you can see the various transcripts are available of the different speakers, and as well as a blog that kind of introduces who they all are, and they join us from around the world. And the Women Tech Makers theme does run parallel to the United Nations theme. So Women Tech Makers theme was Dare to Be, where United Nations was Embrace Equity. And that was my first big kind of activity as part of this Women Tech Makers Ambassadors program. And the other thing I did last week, which I'm super pleased with, is I gave my first public presentation on one of my school assignments, which was related to human security and disaster management, which was on extreme weather as national security threat. And it was a case study on the Buffalo blizzard of 2022. And so did that, and that went really well. So I'm excited to sort of be continuing to get on stage and just kind of figure out how I can put these programming skills, these map making skills, and these foreign language skills all kind of together in a way that's valuable related to issues around geopolitics, the environment, and national security. Those are the things that are definitely interesting to me, and want to share them with you. So that is, I'll bring this to a close today. I thank you for joining me. And like I said, I hadn't forgotten about this channel or my community here. I just wanted to be quietly kind of working on all this other stuff and getting up to speed and just learning as much as I could, as quickly as I could, including learning how to use the streaming software and learning how to use the editing software and just setting everything up in a way that made sense. So still have a way to go. Feedback is always welcome, and I'll look forward to joining you next time. Take care.